Hi, my friends. Welcome to The Movement with Dan Unitas. I'm watching random YouTube videos. This one's called Joe Murphy from NHL Hockey Glory to Homelessness. I don't know who Joe Murphy is, but yeah, we'll see.
Murphy in over the line. He pulls up, takes a look now, trying to get a pass.
Joe Murphy was a star at Michigan State. A rising star as the Red Wings' #1 pick in the 1986 NHL draft. But that was 32 years ago.
Oh, man.
We went looking for Joe in the small Canadian town of Kenora, Ontario, a 2-hour drive from Winnipeg.
There's homeless people everywhere we turn. It's a bizarre juxtaposition. I mean, you have this tourist town that is beautiful. It's like Grand Haven or Traverse City. And you have an incredible homeless population. The weirdest thing about this whole story is everything he tells us, we don't know what's truth in his brain, what is reality.
Oh, man, I think this is going to be a really sad story.
He's a good guy. He's dealing with some mental health issues that we don't fully know what those mental health issues are, and I don't think he knows.
He's got to see his 2 eyes. He's sitting his whole head, his hat. I was doing these things. I tried to sell them back then. There's no market. There's not a market for these things.
Did you play with Stevie Yzerman?
Yes, I played with him in training camp in the games. I call him Stevie Y. Why, Stevie Y? No, but he didn't do well.
Joe played for several teams during his 15-year professional career. He left the NHL in 2001 and admits to suffering a series of concussions that affects him to this day.
I suffered a horrific one in 1990 in Joe Louis, of all places. And I'm going 35 kilometers, going full tilt, man. That's like going full tilt, your head into the wall. And I got up too, because there's just natural instinct, and I was all over the place, and it was debilitating. I fractured my skull, everything, and it's on the thing there.
Man, that's really sad. And this is the type of guy where I think it's important for us to have compassion for people, and I think it's important for us to treat people with love and respect and kindness. But I gotta say, like, if I was talking to this guy, I feel a bit uneasy. I feel like the intensity of his, the way that he's gesticulating and the intensity with how he's talking, I feel like would give me a little bit unsettled to the point where I wouldn't know if he would maybe be triggered by something, and then that would result in like some sort of violent outburst or some sort of some sort of just him going off and exploding on somebody. And if I was in his vicinity, I'd be very nervous. So that's the difficult part about dealing with people with mental illness. It's like there's that feeling sorry for them aspect, but at the same time, because you don't know, because they're having, struggling with the mental illness, it makes them, you are uncertain about what they're capable of and where their mental state's at, because you're not around them. So it's just can be unnerving. So he's talking about having a concussion while he's playing hockey, and then it sounds like he fractured his skull and he got up and continued to try to play or something like that. But he's saying that was like a big, debilitating thing. And if that's the case, man, what a tragedy to go from, having a big career in the NHL on many different teams for 15 years. That's a good, decent run. And then it's all taken away, and now he's like kind of homeless.
See, I couldn't believe I made off the ice, and it affected me. I think I played concussed my whole career, man.
Have you ever been diagnosed with anything?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been diagnosed with some head issues, concussion, and just problem. Yeah, as you grow older, you really get to know your body, when you're feeling good, when you're not, when you're hungry, when you need sleep, and when you need to do things. So, and then you can look back and I can see that I've had some difficulties. The people in these places, like myself, have some mental illnesses. We do.
just at this gas station, they let you hang out and stuff?
They've been very kind to me in the town here. They knew who I never told anybody who I was going through this, ever. I never said my name, what I played, did nothing, and no one knew. I feel like I'm abusing the system, but people are giving me Mag McMuffins and giving me hamburgers.
That's interesting that he said that, and I feel disrespectful by saying I don't believe him, because I feel like sometimes when people have ridden on top, and then they're kind of humbled and made low, and I'm not saying in any way that this guy deserved this at all. It's a very tragic story, but I do feel like sometimes people will be like, hey, do you know who I am? I used to be this guy, and it's kind of like that even adds to the sadness of the story, because they're kind of talking about who they used to be, and then you're seeing who they are now. It's like a very harsh contrast, but I want to take him at face value, because he's trying to say something authentic, but I could also say I could also see a world where he is telling people kind of this story, and that's kind of to increase the level of tragedy, and therefore maybe the amount of guilt. I don't know. I feel like a terrible person, I guess, talking about it this way. I've never been homeless, and I don't know what that's about. So I think I want to advocate for compassion for homeless people, but just I'm trying to suss it out in the sense that, like, if you can make your story more dramatic or more tragic, then people might be willing. That would have be correlated with how much money people are going to give you. If you have a really sad story, then people might want to give you a lot more money. If you have a somewhat sad story, then people might say, well, get over it, or you should. I'm not going to give you as much because you don't deserve as much, because the bigger the tragedy, So by him withholding this kind of thing about the hockey thing, I think that might work against him. But on the flip side, if I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, and he is being truthful, I never told anybody about being this guy, then maybe he has some sort of dignity about his career and about who he was that he wants to hold on to, and he doesn't want to necessarily use that for his kind of personal gain, even though it would help him maybe. But he doesn't want to bring himself to that. I guess he wants to hold that as something sacred to him that he experienced, and people can't take away the pride that he had in being a NHL pro player.
And it really helped me dropping off tens. They've been very kind. Well, I just feel that the people have been kind, and I'm not that type of person to take those things. Jeez.
One of the things I have not really fully considered is the sense of loneliness when you have mental illness like this, because he's by himself, and I think it'd be difficult. I was going to say earlier, it'd be difficult to find a partner. I think that obviously homeless people are people, and that they're going to be wanting to have romantic relationships like anybody else. But having mental illness, suffering from significant mental illness due to a brain injury, a head trauma, would as we're kind of seeing, really isolate you, and people might feel wary around you, and then might not feel trusting around you, and then this guy's alone, and it seems like he doesn't have anybody. He's going off to the corner of this bleacher to kind of just cry it out, and I'm like, man, that's really hard. A lot of people, when they are feeling alone and they need some support, they can go to their spouse, they can go to their family, they got somebody to be there physically to grab onto him. And so I feel really bad for this guy in this moment. I wish I could give him a hug, and I wish I could give him some reassurance. This is a sad sight. The mental illness would be like a prison.
I work hard for all my stuff. I started working when I was 10, and then doing things. Now I'm not working, and I'm just taking things. I feel, but I'm taking it, and it's okay. I'm receiving things now, but geez, I can't keep doing this. I don't feel good like taking things from people.
It's kind of interesting because, like, you're sitting here, if you're kind of more of a rational person, I think it's very shocking to see this imagery, because you get an impression of this guy that's like, probably been saying this for many years. Like, his NHL days are long behind him, and so he's talking about, sometimes I work, sometimes I just take things from people, and I don't know how much to believe him from that perspective, because I think people can kind of be living in this they can be in denial about things. And so he is a homeless person that's taking he's living off of the charity from other people giving him things, and feeling sorry for him, and giving him money to eat, and he's making it by. He's very humble, and saying that the people of this town have been very good to me. So he's being humble in that regard. But man, he's kind of saying like, I gotta get. It's very sad, because he's saying I can't keep doing this. I gotta move on. But I have a feeling that he's been saying that for probably 20 years, and he's trapped in this imagining just loop, where he probably goes through extreme bouts of sadness about his situation, and loneliness, and then, like I was saying earlier, like with the mental illness. Mental illness is like, you can't just. He said he got concussion, brain damage, or fractured. He said fractured skull, and then he says, I played the rest of my career concussed. So I take that to mean that he played, and he kind of he never felt the same after that one skull fracture, and then he probably, as like a hockey player, is kind of meant to be like really rough and tumble. You want to hide your injuries or not appear weak. Maybe that, he's kind of played, but he always knew something was not right, but he maybe didn't look into it. And that's not, I don't think modern medicine is, that's like fixable. So it's like, and so he's effectively permanently handicapped in his brain from this horrific injury that he suffered. And it's not visible, at least it comes out in maybe the way he behaves. But if you had a broken leg or an amputated leg at a car accident or something, it's you're more visibly handicapped. Whereas a brain injury, and it's just kind of you just want to escape from it, and it feels, because it's the brain, I feel like it feels unfair, more so than even like if you lost your leg, you lost your leg. I feel like at a certain point you kind of come to grips with it. I don't know. This is massive conjecture. I'm just kind of spouting. I'm just stream of consciousness here, but I just feel like it's very, very, very sad that he has a brain injury. He's in this like loop of feeling like maybe in denial about his situation, and just you'd want to pray and say, "Hey, God, please deliver me from this prison that I'm in, where I'm effectively, this brain injury is making it so I can't function in society, and I'm always got to be apart from it. It's right in front of me. I'm living in it, but I'm not part of it. And I'm putting words in his head. I don't know if he feels that way, but I'm trying